Hey, how's it going? I'm going to do a video today. We're going to do some hinge cutting for bedding areas for deer. And when there's snow on the ground is actually one of the best times to do that kind of stuff. Deer season is finally over, and I'm out here kind of scouting out the areas and seeing, where deer are using, places for bedding and travel corridors and stuff like that. So right now I just stopped up here and got plenty of deer sign. We've only had snow, for a couple days, and it's all melting pretty fast. So I wanted to come out here and do this before it was all gone. But anyway, right over here, I already know that there's a good bedding area for does, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch it up, do some hinge cutting, open up the canopy a little bit, and let some of that new growth, have a fighting chance, because deer like to browse on that during, bedding hours of the day, and then during the mornings and evenings, they're, concentrating on food plots and hardy greens. So I'm going to take you through the process of what I do to hinge cut trees and make bedding areas for deer. So hold on. All right, well, this is the spot that I'm going to do some hinge cutting, and I'm not sure if you can see because it's a little thick right there, but our house is literally directly, 250 yards from here. But over here, if you can see, is our field, and that's where I have a food plot right there. So I'm about 100 yards from the food plot, about 50 yards from the tree line. And I know that this is being used regularly. As you can see, there's a nice path that the deer have been taking right through here. And like I said, I know that does already bed here. We can actually see them from the house, especially when there's snow on the ground. You can really see them. But I just want to make this a better bedding area, and what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to drop some of this tall canopy, this big wide canopy, and once I drop it, then I can start taking some of these smaller trees and hinge cutting them over and creating woody browse for them to munch on during the daylight hours. So I'm going to get started, and before I do, I want to show you something. This is a habitat hook from Nick Nations. Now, they don't sponsor me or anything, but this is a tool specifically designed for hinge cutting, and I will be showing you how to use it, and I'm going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of these smaller trees, and I'm going to lay them over that way, and I'm going to be using the habitat hook and show you how that's used. First, I need to cut through these trees about 3/4 of the way, and then use the habitat hook to pull the rest of it in. If it doesn't fall by itself, which sometimes it does, that's fine. Don't have to use the hook, but get these out of the way here. Alright, I'm going to want this to fall. Naturally, it wants to fall this way, but I want it to go this way, and this is where the habitat hook goes in. You're going to want to cut about waist high, okay? Because that new growth will start coming from the trunk here and start spreading out. And then once this lays over with the hinge cut, this will still be alive, and little sprouts will start shooting out of this. As long as you've got enough of the canopy removed so the sunlight can come in and get the new growth to grow. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut Okay, I'm about at least 2/3 of the way. And like I've said in the previous videos, I like to use the electric saw, especially doing stuff like this. It's got plenty of power to go through these little trees, and it doesn't leave gas emissions, so don't stink up the woods. It's pretty quiet. I don't have to use ear protection, and it doesn't spook off a lot of the game. So anyway, let me get this habitat hook. Now, this does extend. You can extend this out. I'm going to try to do it without extending it. You just push it over, basically. That's what you want to do. the sucker's really lean that way. Alright, I'm going to extend it out a little bit. Give myself a little bit more of a little higher up on it. Push it over. You know, looks like I need to take the other tree out because this is hanging up on it. So let me go ahead and cut this other tree, and then this one should be able to fall pretty easily. Alright, now I can use the tool here. I'll push this one over first. See, there's still too many trees in the way here. But now I should be able to push this one over. Help push that over. There we go. Now this isn't the ideal scenario, but what I can do is use the other side of this. Come in here, get up from these thorns, use this other side here, shut the thorns down. Now Mother Nature will do the rest. So this is how the habitat hook works. If I can maneuver through here. Look like a goof. So I wanted to show you how this works. Pretty self-explanatory, and really makes a good tool to use out in the woods. So we're gonna keep on going. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with the bedding area here. I've cut down several trees, and I've opened up the canopy here, as you can see. So now some good sunlight can come in here and start this regrowth on these stumps here. I came over here, done the same thing. This is a south-facing hill. Right there's the sun. So this gets plenty of sunlight, and deer like that. They like to stay on the south-facing hills. So I've come in and done this, and I've cleaned up travel corridors as well. I've done this so you know, the deer can move freely through here. And the key to this is you don't want a lot of dead ends. You want the deer to have several exits through this stuff. I'm sure it's hard to see on the camera, but like, for instance, like right here, see I laid this tree down, laid this one down right here, but still the deer can move through here and exit out. They can go down the hill, they can go to the left, they can go to the right. That's kind of what you want. You just want this side cover down on the ground here, because they'll lay up against it, kind of blend in with it. And then you want the seat, or the hinge cuts for new growth for daytime browse. So this kind of adds food to the property and a nice comfortable bedding area that gets plenty of sunlight to keep them warm. And they will be using this for years to come. So hope you like my video, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.